Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence. Today we're going to take a look at the Super 7 Reaction G.I. Joe Bat figure. So anyway, I picked up two of these. I picked up the Zartan. It's the color change. It's right. It doesn't change color. I will post a link to that video in the description here. If you want to see it, don't be fooled if that's why you're buying it. So anyway, I did pick up this, the Bat and the Zartan. There were a few that I actually thought looked really good. Looking at this, I still think it's good. I mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of the price point. This one is $18. They've jumped up to $20 on Super 7. But I will say this, when I saw this solicitation of everything that came with all the hands, two different guns, a pistol and a rifle, and the backpack, I said, hey, you know what? Even though I still don't think it's worth it, they're giving us a good amount of stuff. And it, in my opinion, it really does look good. So I will compare them to the vintage Bat, even though I know it's cartoon accurate. The cartoons are still loosely based off of the figure. So real quickly, we'll take a look at it. Absolute wonderful artwork. It's got the white border that we miss. Reaction, not Hasbro. Again, there is Hasbro on the back, but this is because they own the property. The figure stands out really nice. Again, if you look at the pictures that Super 7 showed you, you're going to see all of the arms. Now, you only see the one hand here. If you look here, so they changed some things in the digital render. Sorry, Tam, it was the same way. On the back, you have your cross cell. Again, what we had in the 80s, along with the file card. It doesn't look the exact same, but it's been so long since I've seen one. If you looked at this, you'd say, hey, you know what? That's what it's supposed to look like. So you got figures from previous waves, and then you get the figures from this wave. And then you have the file card, which is what we've been asking Hasbro to give us with the G.I. Joes. It's all in one language, and it gives you a description of what this character is. Cardstock, you can hear it. It sounds nice. It is straight. So anyway, we're gonna take a look at this figure. I really do like it. Anyone that's watched my videos, they know I'm not a big fan of Super 7, but for sure I did like it, so I'm gonna pick it up. And I like picking some of these up for background characters because he's an android. He's kind of gonna be straight anyway, so I really don't have an issue with it. I think he's gonna fit in with the rest of the bats that I have in my G.I. Joe room. So anyway, let's get to it. I'd love to hear what you think. So if you have one, if you picked it up, if you like it, comment in the description. Tell me what you like about it. And while you're there, just, like the video. It helps out the algorithm. So anyway, enough looking at me. Let's take a look at this thing. All right, so here we have it. First look. Again, card looks really nice. Thing I do love, Super 7 does it now. I know Hasbro does it with G.I. Joes. I'm assuming they probably do it with Star Wars and stuff, is you have this plastic case right here. So it holds the figure in place nice. So you don't have to worry about it bouncing around or anything. It's going to sit there. So if you are a mint on card collector, it just kind of sits on the figure. You don't have to kind of bounce around. So I like that. And again, cardstock. Really nice. You can pry these open enough. So as you see, I do keep these cards. Yes, I have issues like so many others. So anyway, first look at him, and here he is. He stands straight up. He's got his claw, his backpack, two other little weapons, and he comes with the cartoon accurate gun. I believe it's cartoon accurate. I know that the original Bat didn't come with it. And then he has his little blaster, which I do believe, once again, is in it. So, we'll quickly take a look. Here's his hands. He's actually getting, I guess technically you could say he has more than 5 points of articulation, considering his hands, or his wrists, do move. So, let's see if we can, man, I'm just a disaster right now. So, pop the backpack off this Bat and we'll take a look at him. And so quickly right off it, you have the engineering on the inside. Seems like a pretty horrible idea leave a nice piece of glass to show you all the engineering, but right here, they both have a yellow/orange belt. His has little belt buckles, and yes, you can see that the bat does have belt buckles, and they have the silver in the middle. They both have the harness that runs up, and believe it or not, it actually does follow the strap, except for the O-ring is not painted. They both have grenades. This one has 2. A little bit smaller, but that's fine. And all the way up to the shoulders, where you can see that it's painted there. Now, obviously, this bat has a red face, which is what the cartoon had. So we kind of take a look down here, and he's got the sidearm. So they both have the sidearm all the way down. Boots look very similar. They made these go completely around here, so it's silver all the way around. The O-ring doesn't have that. The boots definitely look very similar. You can kind of see the strap over it to hold it down. Even to the side where it has a little pouch. And we can lift his arm up here. And you can see this communicator is on both of them. So then he has a pouch here and a pouch here. So they do a pretty good job. They recreate everything pretty well. Let's see the back here. A little different. This bat has some technology. I actually first realized that when I was doing the review of the classified bat. For this one, he has nothing, just regular old shoulders. But even the little shark fin that goes up here. So I think it looks really, really nice. Again, this one is yellow compared to the orange. And there is a little bit of a different height, obviously. I kind of like that, because the bats I would assume are actually bigger. So we take the Zartan and even Zartan. So they make them bigger, which I like. That's, to me, that's a good thing. So good thing the Super 7 actually did. So here we have his little pistol, which they gave you a holster for it. We can slide that down, maybe. And there is a hole at the bottom right there. Right? But, oh look, there we go. So got it in. Hole goes right through. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. We pop the hands off here. They come off pretty easily. And what is cool is definitely both hands come off. Which the original bat, you only had one hand come off. And oddly enough, these things really don't even get, they really don't even get loose. At least I don't have one. And they don't even break that much, even though I do have a broken one. They seem to stay intact pretty well over 30 plus years. So let's pop off the weapons and take a look at what we have here. So looking at the original bat here, there's this claw. It's open more. This one here is closed, but it definitely looks pretty similar. I kind of like this. It's kind of like it kind of looks like a saw on the top, so it's not only a claw but a weapon. And how easy does it pop in? All right, so it just kind of pops in nicely. You can turn it. It looks kind of goofy, to be honest. It's because it's so much thinner, where you would think it should be the same size, roughly going out. It kind of looks like he has a little claw hand. Let's see here. So the other thing that I have is, now oddly enough, this is the laser. I always thought this was the flamethrower on the original bat. This one here, they give it to you, and I think it actually kind of looks better. I was never a fan of this. And the same thing, we can pop it right on. I think you kind of have to twist it. Probably help to heat this up a little bit if you're going to be changing it. There we go. Again, looks super tiny. Honestly, so far both of these look pretty stupid. I think it's too far up where it's not actually at the wrist, but oh well. And then unfortunately I do not have an original flamethrower. So here's the flamethrower. It looks very similar to what I remember the original looking like. Pop that off. Just waiting for it to break. And once again, man, it just looks weird. It looks like it's an amputee that's like halfway up the forearm. I definitely won't be displaying it with these, unfortunately. That's too bad, to be honest. That was kind of something I was hopeful for. Obviously here, when you put his arms back on, he looks fine. But at least now you have some wrist articulation. So technically this is a 7 points of articulation figure. Alright. And then we can take a look at the backpacks really quickly here. And you can see the original O-ring one is much bigger. But it's pretty much the same. It's got the little dial on it and the circles. Even onto this side. So, looks pretty good. If you've seen any of the reaction figures, you know their backpacks is a little bit different. So I bet if I pop off Zartan's, yeah, that thing would plug perfectly in there, just like that. The Bazookas would probably do the same thing also. So, let me get this thing back on. It'd be cool if they would have just done the same as the O-rings. Let's get these out of here. So you could interchange them. Then you have his gun. And this thing, let's just say, I'm going to using that. It is absolutely, completely warped. And even though I like it, it reminds me of the Viper gun. It's warped and just doesn't really look all that good. But again, this is Super 7. This is kind of how they do stuff. Not a lot of detail, but it definitely reminds me of the Viper gun. So, it's supposed to have a mag here, flashlight, I believe. Scope. Again, don't know why a bat would need a scope, but hey. So, we can quickly go over the articulation on this figure, and as we know, the reaction head, they turn, their arms go up, and their legs bend. But with this one, the bat, you get an extra 2 points of articulation with a right wrist twist and a left wrist twist. So, not that bad. I'm not going to complain all that much. Now again, when you look at this, I'll tell you what, when someone tells you 7 points of articulation looks better, you know what this reminds me of? The Snow Trooper from Star Wars with the big giant laser cannon. And I always looked and said, I guess Roman thinks it reminds him of it too, don't you? It just looks stupid. But at least he's an android, a robot. So it's not that bad. Alright, so. Oh, I forgot to mention that he does have the Cobra symbol on the side of his arm. I was actually looking at that. So they both have the Cobra symbol on the left arm. Alright, so let's finish this up. Let's see. If you look in here, I don't know if you can see it. They'll have the pegs, so you can peg all 3 weapons in here. I think it's going to be an extremely, extremely tight fit. Because this thing is really, really small, which is kind of funny when you think about it, considering the bat is just so much bigger than the original O-ring bat. So, alright, let's wrap it up. Alright, so there you have it. That is the G.I. Joe Super 7 Reaction Bat. Again, if you follow me, you know I'm not a huge fan of Super 7. I would have compared him to the SDCC bat, except for Super 7 has just been sitting there holding my money for who knows how long. Oh, I know, a month now. They said, hey, best of all, it's in stock, but we're not going to ship it. One thing I did forget to mention, I don't know why I keep forgetting to mention this, is the peg holes on the bottom of their feet do not fit the original G.I. Joe. So they will not fit on any of the vehicles or any of the stands. But at least these other two reaction figures, I don't have any other reaction figures, they fit the standard size stands like this. So I don't understand why Super 7 felt that they weren't going to make the G.I. Joe with the same standard peg size. But unfortunately, it doesn't fit modern and it doesn't fit vintage. It's their own size. So, but if you do like Super 7 reaction, you're definitely going to like this figure. I was actually okay spending the $18 on it. And I really do think it looks good. And I really think it's going to fit pretty nicely in my collection with the bat. So, anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll mention it again. Instagram and Twitter, A Punk with Toys. Facebook, I will post a link to this thread, and Punks with Toys, that's the Facebook group. Doing our best to grow. Wow. Doing our best to grow. Small community. Hopefully it's going to grow much, much larger. So anyway, that's it. I'm wrapping it up. Here, listen, you're going to have listen, there's going to be something to watch here next. So watch another one of my videos. And like and subscribe to the channel. Helps everything else. So anyway, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful night and happy toy hunting.